Hi everyone, welcome to the Vulnerable Scientist podcast. This is Saranya Kerry, and today I have with me Faith. Faith, we've been trying to record this podcast, and I don't know, things have been happening, but finally today we are able to record it, and I'm hoping that things will work out for the best. So Faith, welcome to this podcast.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I'm glad to be here.
Okay, maybe an introduction to who is Faith and what does she do currently, and maybe a background on your journey to where you are right now.
Okay, sure. Yeah, my name is Faith Mokobi Zablon. I am from Kisii County, a place called Magena. I am a PhD student in North Carolina A&T State University in a college called Joint School of Nanoscience and Nanoengineering. So I have a background in microbiology and immunology. That is for my master's and a BSc in microbiology. From India, I studied in Madurai Kamaraj University, and I finished both of my degrees in 2012 within a span of 5.5 years. And I came back home with the possibility of getting a job. And well, being in Kenya in a biomedical field is challenging, especially when you have a degree from outside. Majorly India, there's something about having a degree from India. They have this assumption that you're not qualified enough. That is why you had to go outside, especially to India, to pursue your studies there. However, so after I completed my degree, I came back home and I tried to get opportunities. I was very much interested in research because I had done my dissertation in metagenomic. I was trying to edit the genome of the gut microbiota of a mosquito that transmits dengue and chikungunya viruses. And we were trying to edit it so that you can manipulate the microbiota. Instead of transmitting the parasite, they can be able to inject into the host the drugs that can be able to prevent or hinder the transmission of malaria. So when I came back home, I tried to pursue opportunities in research. First place I actually went to was in. And when I got there, obviously you submit your CV and your papers and you sell yourself. These are my experiences and this is what I can be able to do. Can you kindly offer me an opportunity? Because what I was looking for was an internship. And I remember then the director telling me, what? You have a degree from India and you have a master's? Madam, just go and become a lecturer in the university. So it was really discouraging, especially I just finished school and I'm here looking for an opportunity, and that is the best he could actually offer me. So it was a bit discouraging, and I came to Nairobi, to Cambridge, now the CRM. I was seeking for the same, and I tried to draft a proposal. I wanted to shift my attention to antimicrobial resistance, and I wanted to study TB. And I remember submitting my proposal to a certain professor, names not mentioned obviously. And he was like, this is good. I will see what I can be able to do. I'll call you and follow exactly where you can be well situated. So I was pretty hopeful, but unfortunately the phone call never came back. I sent a series of emails that were never responded to, and that was it. I went to ILRI, still with the same proposal, the TB branch, the same proposal, trying to get an internship. What I was actually looking for was an internship to gain the skills. But the same happened. I submitted my proposal to a lady. She was a director, and she also never got back to me. So you can imagine, within the first 2 years of my finishing college and coming back home were really hard. So in that moment, I was working for Kisii University. I was a part-time lecturer in Kisii University. So I continued to teach with the hope that I could be able to get a research opportunity, but that never came. then I started looking for fellowships and scholarships outside the country. So I kept applying, and luckily in 2015 I got a fellowship, CR Raman, yes, CV Raman fellowship to India, and unfortunately also personal issues got into it, and I never got to pursue the opportunity because I was expectant. Actually, this is something that we have to debate when a woman is, having children and you want to pursue your career. Where do we lie? Like, what position is there for us? Because some of us want to have families, but we still want to pursue our careers. So I never got to do the fellowship because I was expectant, and they told me they could not take me because I was expectant. So that is how I lost the fellowship. It was not your choice. It was not my choice, but the fellowship had outlined laws and conditions that you cannot go when you are expectant. I really tried to follow up for like 6 months to see if there was any possibility, but the embassy declined. So that was the closest I got to getting an opportunity, but I never quit. I continued to apply for other, opportunities, rejection after rejection, and so I started applying to American institutions. Every year I could try to apply to at least 3 universities in the United States, and I could get admissions, but I was not getting funding. I could get an admission, but I never got the opportunity of getting funding. So I couldn't come because it's pretty expensive to actually, study here for a PhD without funding. So I still continued to lecture. I was in KISS University. I was in Kenyatta University. I was in Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University. I was in Mount Kenya University. Part-timing everywhere. But part-timing also comes with a lot of problems. You never get paid, or if you don't get paid, they take too long to pay you. So I remember the only institution that could pay us on time was MKU, but it was still so little. You have a family to support, your family is also expecting something from you. So that was my journey. Up to now, I was still teaching, and up to this opportunity that I was able to get. So that was basically my journey being in Kenya. I was a lecturer who was seriously seeking for opportunities that never came by for 9 good years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's after finishing your master's.
That is after finishing my master's. But the good thing is I was just the aggressive type. In the pursuit of my opportunities, I sought to mentor students, and I'm so glad that now as we are speaking, I have 4 students that I have actually been able to mentor, and they got scholarships, and they're already pursuing their careers. While mine was stagnated, at least I was able to mentor somebody who made something good out of his or her life. Yeah, I know.
I think I knew a little bit about his story, but I never really listened to it. They have listened to it now.
Yeah.
It's just a lot. I can just imagine it's just a lot going on, and this is just a summary. So, since you've already mentioned some laws, maybe you could start with the laws that you experienced, maybe in depth.
Well, among the laws that I've actually experienced is the lack of opportunities. You're qualified, but most of the time it's either somebody gets intimidated by your qualification, or people don't just look deep enough to see what you're able to offer. Because I remember I had opportunities of getting interviews for research assistant positions in those research centers in Kenya. And I remember one particular interview I actually had during just early as the COVID pandemic was starting. And this was an interview from some professors in And I remember being so open about what I was doing. And at that moment, because I had just moved to Nairobi, and I was trying to do some blogging.
Faith.
Yeah?
Sorry. I think there's I think you're moving. I don't know what is making this. There's a certain
noise. Okay, let me not move.
It's okay. If it's the noise that comes from the moving, it's fine. I'll try and edit that out. It's okay. Don't think about it.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah, sure. I hope I'm not saying too much.
No, there's no saying too much.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, it's that too much that you're saying it's too much in quotes.
Mm-hmm.
That is the most important, because we used to talking things in brief, and we don't really explain what was really going on at that time. Yeah.
Well,
so
this is vulnerable.
Don't
being vulnerable.
Exactly. So don't feel that. I'm talking too much, or I'm saying too much.
Okay.
Just go and say as much as you can. Please. I have all the time. I don't know. Maybe now you be the one who would maybe have time.
Alright, it's okay. I have time.
But feel free.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I'm talking about this particular experience I had. Of course, when you're looking for opportunities, you get the chance of going for interview after interview after interview. The problem normally comes when they never call back, or you follow up and nobody ever responds, or even to tell you that you're not qualified or you're not the right person that we're looking for. So I remember this instance where I was looking for a research assistant position, and I thought I was pretty qualified because I was looking for somebody who has worked on a little bit on malaria and dengue fever and chikungunya fever and mosquitoes, generally entomology. So I remember the professors looking at my CV, and at that time I was doing some blogging. I was writing a lot of academic literature online, and that was what I was doing because I had just moved to Nairobi and to look for better opportunities. And I remember this professor telling me that, your CV tells me that you're all over, like you don't seem to have something specific that you're doing. And I told him, I don't know if you and I are in the same country, but this is Kenya. Some of us have not had the luck of getting the right opportunity, so we have to try everything. We see where we can be able to fit in. And that is what I am doing. And I am an academician who would like to get into research. So any opportunity that I can be able to get to earn some knowledge and to earn some skills, I will take it. So I am doing writing right now, but I'm pursuing an opportunity in research, and that is what I'm hoping you guys can be able to offer me. I might have lagged behind because I've not had a practical experience for quite some time, but I know my capabilities. But he was so critical and criticized every part of my CV, and I was like, I just said it is okay. And I remember him asking me, Madam, did you take 4 years off because you became a mother? I told him I didn't take 4 years off because in those 4 years I have been teaching in various institutions in Kenya from town to town, so that I can be able to provide for my children. And I think you guys are in the position of realizing somebody's capabilities, because I have some research experience which I want to put out there to make some impact in science. But he was so critical, and I knew immediately after the interview they'll never call me back, so I never even got to follow up like exactly what they were going to do. And ironically, a year later I got another opportunity with the same guys, and they were looking for somebody to work on malaria. And I had a similar interview, and now in this particular panel, the only guys. I really tried to explain my feminist aspect of why it has been so hard for me to get into research as a woman and as a mother. And because they were all men, they just thought that I chose being a woman and a mother over my career, which I think was was wrong. Up to this moment, I think it was really a wrong aspect of looking at a woman who is trying to pursue a career in research, because somehow you need to take a break, you need to take care of your children, and you're trying to balance your academic life, you're trying to balance your career, and you're trying to balance your personal life. And I thought I had it all together until these people questioned why I was all over the place. But I thank God, because in that moment, immediately after the interview, that is when I got my admission to the United States. And I got an admission plus funding. It was the greatest miracle in my life, because I had tried to get into a university called Penn State University. So Penn State University offered me an admission, but they were not able to offer me funding because of the COVID pandemic, so they didn't have much. But this institution I am in right now, they were looking for PhD students in biomedical sciences who wanted to look into applying the biomedical sciences in engineering. So this was luck. Those guys rejected me, but they rejected me for a good reason. They rejected me, and I am here right now. Yeah, so the laws have been there, the joblessness has been there, not having people to believe in you enough, to trust you enough that let us give her the opportunity, she could make a difference. Let us, give her the platform, let her use the skills that she already has so that she can be able to grow. What people don't realize is somebody's potential. So if the people could go out there and give somebody the opportunity to exploit their potential, there's so many people who are so much capable, but nobody wants to believe in their small skills. So I thank God for the laws. There were so many, but I thank God for those law moments, because they brought me here. Yeah.
Hey, Faith. I feel like I'm boiling, and I don't want to bring emotions here, like my own emotions here, because this is not my podcast. But
yes.
Okay. Have you ever met a woman who's asked you that question about your motherhood and its relation to your career?
Yes, I remember in 2020 I went to Curry, and I was referred to a certain researcher, and she's an entomologist, and she was applying for a firm. She was writing some proposals on vaccines, malaria vaccines. And I went to meet her. Unfortunately, I couldn't meet her, but she was kind enough to call me. Actually, we had a very lengthy, that was the first man I've ever actually spoken to concerning my research. And I explained to her what my journey has been. And she could relate so much. The only difference is, I think she was more lucky when she was starting, and I think when she was starting, research opportunities were there like 20 years ago as compared to right now. So they were among the pioneers in research in Kenya. So she could relate so much because she's a mother, and she has known how it is really hard to balance motherhood, being a wife, and her career. And she just challenged me that once you're out there, you sell yourself. No matter how short you are, just tell people, this is my research experience, this is what I can be able to offer you. Can you kindly give me the platform to exploit what more I can be able to do with my skills? So we talked in depth. She understood my situation. She couldn't offer me anything at the moment because she was also looking for funding, but she promised that if anything has to come up, she would contact me. So in my journey, I've probably actually met one woman who I have talked to about my struggle, the scientist trying to pursue everything in life. Yeah. And she's a great woman. She has a very good CV. Like, I really like networking, but I meet people on LinkedIn, and that is how I connect with people. And I just met her on LinkedIn, and I asked questions about her through people, and she was very kind enough to actually reply to my email, because a lot of people never reply to emails, especially from people they don't know. But she was really kind enough to email back, to schedule a Zoom meeting. And she had me, and that was just awesome, because she's great. So her listening to me was good enough, and it gave me the motivation to just not give up.
Wow, I love that there was someone who you could talk to and she could understand where you're coming from, though she came from a different time.
Yeah.
But she still understood that.
Yeah.
I wonder how many women are going through that. Okay, I had an idea, because myself I wouldn't fully understand, because I don't have kids at the moment, so I wouldn't really understand. But I was in a space where there's this conference that was going on in South Africa with ABBC. It's a biennial conference symposium to do with gene editing.
Okay.
And there was this small forum that women went to. I was actually wearing this dress when attending that same day conference, and I was the one writing down the notes. And it was a forum of women from different ages, different races, different countries, who did their education in different places. And the story was the same. Like it's not like I could write much. There are different stories that I'm writing. It's just one story. Everybody saying the same thing, that it is a bit hard, especially being a woman and having a family, and especially coming from the because it was an African-based conference, so they were mostly African women. So women talking about how them being a woman made them not have the same access to opportunities, especially advancing in education, as their male counterparts, just because they are women, not because of anything else. Just because they are wearing, just because of their physique, because the only reason they're not getting opportunities as men is because they have 2 X chromosomes. That's the only reason they're having that issue. It had nothing to do with how capable they were in, no one really assessed how capable they were in doing whatever they were doing. And it's some are very senior women, some are, they're doing well in their careers, but and some are still, they're still experiencing that. And one thing that came out of it that was very positive for me, that I really loved, is a woman from Senegal said that even the Senegalese and another one from Nigeria said that the things that made her be able to thrive were, at least not the things that made her face these challenges better, were having a supportive partner, a man who was enabling her and was understanding that this is what is you're facing, and I'm going to support you through this. And sometimes, even if they're able to do that, they also have their careers that is they're having, but the thing that they're able to sense that, the fact that this is a woman, I have a woman who wants to pursue these things and she wants them, I will make sure that she is having a simpler time doing that, just because she's already experiencing other things. So they used to you find women mentioning that they had support to, in terms of taking care of kids.
Yeah.
Like the men weren't like, it's a woman only thing. There was that support in terms of taking care of kids, and some were able to navigate that space easier just because of that. And something else that I think one person said, that just one person, I think, what I can remember, said that she was able to move her family from wherever she was to the country where she was getting that sponsorship, and the sponsorship the funding was able to cover her nanny and her kids and the partner. And that was the only good story that I got out of it. And the rest were just talking about how hard it was to do that. But I'd never heard someone say that there's a man, or there are men who sat in a panel and imposed on that woman, saying on her face that, is it because you're a woman that's why you're not succeeding? Because that's what they're generally asking, in short.
Yeah, like you chose family over your career. You're trying to find a balance. It's not easy, and just like you said, partners are very supportive, but most of the time they're also having their own challenges. So when you find that you have a partner who can be able to support you, and he finds that if I can be able to move a notch higher to help us put food on the table, he will do that. But he's not going to stop supporting you in every aspiration that you have. He just knows that I need to try a little bit higher, because back home, what I know, putting food on the table is what people are looking for, especially during this COVID pandemic. People are really struggling. So I know my husband had to be like, let me work hard so that we have the basics that we need. But yours is not going to be on hold, because I can assure you, during those 9 years of my not having a successful career, I accumulated certificates. I used to do these online courses, free online courses, from antimicrobial resistance to understanding TB to HIV pathogenesis. I did a lot of online certificate courses that were free, that were offering me a lot of knowledge. And I remember my husband was like, if you need internet to do what you have to do, I'll provide that for you. If you need internet to start your own blog or to write, stuff online, I'm going to do that for you. As long as something keeps going on for you, as we are trying to get something better. And I thank God, because it paid off. It really paid off. Because when I started writing online, I think people are like, oh, so she can actually also do this, And I remember meeting a guy from Nepal, and he's been one of my greatest support system up to now, because he told me, why don't you write for me notes for microbiology and immunology online, and I pay you for it. Yeah. And through the notes that I wrote, actually the entire of 2020 up to mid this year, I got a very great audience. People were like, wow, she can actually do this. And these are notes that can help students in the university, not only in Kenya but globally, because his websites are shared globally. Students in America access his websites. Students in Asia, in Russia, in Germany, people are reading these notes that I was writing for people. And it gave me a platform to actually be able to exploit my capabilities in literature review. Because I remember when COVID pandemic hit, he told me, I want you to write something about COVID. So I was like, okay, let me try. And I remember actually on his website, if you look, my articles on COVID are the most searched. Like, it has a traffic of about 300,000 viewers. Yeah. So I really thank this guy because when I thought I was hitting rock bottom, he showed me that I could still do something. And I have written notes over and over again until this happened. And I remember the other day we were talking and he was like, thank you so much, because I wrote about 215 notes, like notes for his websites. Yeah. So, and even now, because my program is on techniques, I wrote a lot of notes on techniques, on microscopy, staining techniques, which I actually am using right now for my research. They come in very handy because they gave me a good foundation, they gave me the knowledge, because I was taking my time looking for references all over, from publications to just websites that were writing about these notes, and I was bringing them all together to make coherent notes for people to be able to read. And they are very helpful to me, and I'm pretty sure they're helping many other students out there in the university. Even professionals can equally use the same set notes for their references. Yeah, so that is one of my highest peaks of 2020 despite the pandemic.
Do you want to mention?
Oh yeah, his name is Sagar Ariel. He's a PhD scholar in Germany. He's working on antimicrobial resistance, and he's using mycoplasma to study antimicrobial resistance, and he's trying to use gene editing, CRISPR technique, to edit or knock out genes that cause gene resistance in mycoplasma. And he's one of those people who can mentor anybody, because he gives you the push, and he's like, there is nothing impossible for you. So you have these capabilities, nobody has seen them. Let me give you this opportunity and see what you can be able to do. And he gave me that platform, and he is one guy that I really appreciate, and he made a friend in me that I'm pretty hopeful that even for my research program is one person I would like to do collaborations with for my research.
You mentioned something about how you've looked for people to network with. Actually, we actually met online with you, right?
Yeah.
And we've never met in person.
We've never met in person. Yeah. I think I'm the one who wrote to you. I saw what I think you were. I was interested in you because of what you were doing for your research in, was it Hildry? I think I just looked through your website or your profile. I just looked through your profile and I think
the blog.
It was a blog, huh? I think we connected because I was writing and you were also writing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I call myself a social stalker. That is how I get to know people. I have a huge network, and my opportunity here was because I connected with somebody on LinkedIn. Actually, she's the one who was like, "This school, if you're interested in, apply to it, and they could be having funding. I will inquire if they have funding so that you can apply." That is how I got here, just through somebody I met on LinkedIn. And all my professors, I met them on LinkedIn, and I was just confident enough to write them an email and be like, "I'm interested in this program and these are my research interests. Could you kindly consider me for your program?" And that is what I have done to a lot of professors in a lot of schools. So the good thing is some people are responsive, some people do not respond. People take time to actually look at your CV, see your capability, then they get to respond back. But not everybody does that. But we thank God for those who are able to do that, because that is the essence of networking. With networking, not everybody is going to pull you up, but somebody is going to look beyond and be like, "Wow, I think I like this about her. She has so much, but I can pick this about her, and I can be able to support her on this." So networking is very essential. It's something that I always tell people. Never be shy enough to tell somebody what your capabilities are. Just be confident, we are not perfect, especially in science. There's so much in science and you cannot know everything. But that knowledge that you have about something can take you places. Yeah.
How did you deal with rejections?
Rejections, I think I got to a point where I became immune. Initially, it was really tough. And just like I had mentioned earlier, that getting a degree from India, there is this assumption people have that you went to India because you didn't perform well. But I performed very, very well in my KCSE. So I remember.
Do you want to talk about that first? Why did you choose to go to India? And yeah.
Oh yeah.
Why do a master's in India?
When I finished my KCSE, I was called to go and study education, physics and mathematics, and the reason as to I actually went to India was because my dad wanted me to be a doctor, and I went there to pursue pharmacy, but it was too expensive. So I decided to do microbiology, which was a personal choice, because I understood that with microbiology that I could study HIV, because HIV was the disease that was so bad during our time. So I was like, if I study microbiology, then I can be able to understand HIV, and I can be able to. What I've always been passionate about is just having a test that can be able to diagnose some of these diseases early, in the early stages. So if we could have a diagnostic tool that could, detect the viral load in the early stages, then it would be easy for us to mitigate the treatment possibilities for this patient. So that is what I just said, if I could not be able to afford to do pharmacy, then I could do microbiology. And my dad consulted, and he was told that India could be a good place to pursue some of these courses, and that is how I actually ended up going to India and pursuing my BSc there for microbiology. And I decided to continue with my master's because I performed really well for my BSc, and I was looking for a program that could offer me some form of funding and a very good university. So I ended up going to studying in an American institution for immunology and medical microbiology. And for that, I remember for my dissertation, I was offered full funding for my dissertation project. Like, I didn't pay anything for my project, for my master's project. And I didn't know that there was some, the people looked down upon the degrees from India until I came back home. But that was after. But my experience in India, my academic life in India was really good because they had the equipment, they had the laboratories. So that is how I actually ended up going to India. My dad wanted something, a good opportunity for me, a very good platform for me to be able to do anything in medical studies.
Is there how was it for you? You've done this thing, you've excelled, you like it, and now I'm coming to Kenya and I'm going to get a job. And actually, with a master's degree, we have a perception that it's actually easier to.
Yeah.
And also coming from outside, it's actually easier to, come into the job space and get a space. How was it for you for that period? The first, especially before you got immune, that first period. How was it for you, realizing that you can't get a job?
Oh, it was the most traumatizing. I was stressed for a very long time, because I was like, what was the need of then pursuing these courses for almost 6 years and you cannot do anything? So it was a low moment, but I think I took solace in being able to teach, because immediately I landed in Kenya, the first thing I did is get a teaching opportunity at Kisii University. So that was taking my time, because I was making notes for my students, and dispensing knowledge. It's something that I actually do appreciate so much, being able to dispense knowledge to somebody else. And that was consoling. But I had my parents, they were a very strong support system. And, everybody kept encouraging me that, your time is going to come, your time will come. And it wasn't as stressful as I thought, because I have seen a lot of people who get to really struggle so much after coming from India especially. And a lot of courses that we come with from Kenya are too specialized. Immunology is very specialized. We still don't have that in Kenya. So I just took solace in my teaching, and I could ensure that every semester I had a minimum of 4 classes I was teaching, so that I had a lot of my time occupied to do what I had to do. And the good thing is my parents were supporting me the likes of fare, because I needed to move to go to those classes. So there was such a strong support system, and I'm a person who thinks more of the positive. I don't concentrate on the negative, because I'm like, tomorrow is always going to be a better day. Let's concentrate on today. And the fact that I love students, like, I don't know what I have, but I love just standing in front of young people, being able to mentor them and tell them, there's so much that you can be able to do. So I took solace in being able to dispense knowledge and being able to have people looking up to me, and they're like, oh, she's so young. And because I think I was started teaching when I was in 23. Yeah, so she's so young and she can be able to do this. And
wait,
yeah,
at what age did you go to university if you're teaching at 23? And you already done masters?
I was 19. So I came back. I was at 23, 24. I immediately got here. I was 24, and I started teaching at KISS University in September 2012.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is there another law?
I think there are so many laws. I cannot exhaust them, but those are my lowest moments, which I can actually say. Those are my lowest moments. The inability to get a job. My loss of the fellowship to India was like the lowest. I think that one threw me to a corner. I was like, this cannot be. This was the closest I had come to getting something happen for me. And the rest is history, but just like I said, I concentrate more on the good and, move forward from there.
So, for example, for that India opportunity, how did you...
With the India opportunity, I had my family, my parents were disappointed. I was disappointed in myself, but I was having a blessing of a child, so that is something I couldn't trade for anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the highs. If the lows, you've said that there's so many, it's hard to exhaust.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the highs.
I have had very high points in my life, and of course finishing my master's was the highest, because I made my parents proud. That was one of the best things I've ever done, because my dad expected so much and I attained that. So I made them proud, and he was like, my child has done it. Yeah. And another thing is just the ability to be able to teach. I love teaching, and I have taught so many students over the years, young, old, because you teach programs where you have kids who just finished high school, then you teach students who are grading from their diploma to do their BSc, and I have been able to mentor so many people in this journey. And I feel so lucky because not everybody does that. And the fact that I am passionate about just talking to other students and, being able to share with them my journey, an academic journey, has been one of the best experiences I've had over the years. And then the third high, so sad that I can count my highs and I cannot.
And you cannot count the lows.
The lows, I know.
Actually, it's a good thing. For me, I think I take lows as a positive thing.
Yeah.
Mostly because it's those lows that build us more than the highs.
Exactly.
As people, so there's nothing like wrong with having lows.
Mm-hmm.
They're very actually people who go through lows have better experiences in life and they've grown more compared to someone who's not experienced lows as much.
Yeah.
I can even give an example where my supervisor actually told me, I think she saw that I was getting frustrated with not getting results, and she told me that there's this perception that when a student comes in and she's getting results, she's a very good student.
Uh-huh.
But that student hasn't learned a lot from that research. But someone who's done a lot of troubleshooting, even if they never get results, they've learned so much, they've tried everything and they've learned so much that they become better scientists compared to someone who doesn't know what troubleshooting looks like.
Yeah.
So just the point is, the laws are okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. It's beautiful to have laws.
Yeah. Yes. So my third high was, just meeting this guy online, Saga, and we had a conversation. And I told him, well, I don't have anything I'm doing currently, and I'm looking for, even if I write for you for free, I wouldn't mind. And he was like, no, you can write for me and I can be able to pay you something. And I tried the first time and I was like, this is excellent, because I remember I was writing an article on antimicrobial resistance, and he told me, this is really good, can you try and write some more? So I tried, and the more I tried, the more I wrote better. And when you're getting paid for something, it's always good. And I was writing and I was getting paid for it. That was really good for me. For a very long time, I appreciated what I was doing. And then my highest, my peak of peaks, was this opportunity coming to the United States. So I remember one evening, I think, because I normally do applications every year, and I had done applications to 3 universities last year. So every year I try to apply to at least 3 universities in the United States. So I remember I was about to sleep and I check my email and I'm like, congratulations, you have been offered an admission to the Joint School of Nanoscience and Nanoengineering. Like, I screamed, and I think it was at 12 at night. And I screamed, and my husband was like, what? Why are you screaming? And I'm like, I got it. And, because it was being offered from a college, not from a university, I had done my research and I knew how funding was hard, but that was the best day of my life. I was like, I got it, And this school gets really good funding, and I was kind of sure that either way I was going to get funded, That was the highest point of my life. Really, I called my mom at 1 o'clock at night, and my parents were so happy because I have gotten admissions over time, but the fact that I was not able to get funding was really hard. And I remember that night I wrote to the same professor who emailed me, and he had actually said that congratulations, you have been given an admission to this school. We would like to interview you for funding. That was at the end of the email. So the fact that they were actually considering me for funding, unlike the other institutions where you get admission and they don't mention funding, this one was mentioning that they want to interview me for funding. And I was like, wow, like, okay, you don't know what you're going to expect, but you're hopeful that you will get it. And I remember my mama really told me this story that, you have waited for 9 years, but remember, Moses had to cross the desert for 40 years with the Israelites. So 9 years is so little, and it is so little it's a lot of years for us, but in God's eyes, it's so little, and you don't know what journey He's building for you. And kind of we all knew this was the time for me because everybody in my family is stable except me, and I'm the firstborn. So I just, everybody just knew, this was the time for Faye, So I emailed back the professor and I said I was actually going to do the interview the next day.
Wow, you didn't even think about preparing.
I didn't even think about preparing.
Wow. The excitement.
It was the excitement, but I was pretty confident that because I was like, what exactly are they going to ask? Because they've already looked at my CV, they have already looked at my experiences, and here they are willing to fund me. So what is the worst that could actually happen? So it's a matter of, well, these are my experiences. I haven't done research for a long time, but I have experiences in these and these, and I'm requesting for funding so that I think I'm qualified and the research interests that I have are aligned to what you're doing. And I think towards the end of getting this program, I was pretty much interested in doing cancer research because I was engaging in a volunteership kind of, a temporal volunteership opportunity with the Integrated Cancer Research Foundation of Kenya, where I met scholars from Oxford University, and they were doing really good work in cancer, and they were trying to do a sensitization program in Kenya. So towards getting this admission, I kind of knew what I wanted to work on. So I was pretty confident, even if they asked me why they're offering me for this funding and what they're offering the funding for, I knew what I wanted to work on. So I was like, let's do the interview tomorrow. And he responded back and he gave me the time and he sent me the Zoom link, and that was it. So I think I slept in the morning. I was reading and, my husband was trying to tell me what kind of questions to expect. Going online, what kind of funding questions are normally asked. And I prepared and I was really ready for that interview. So that was the highest point of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was it for you to see other people progressing and you feel like you're not, especially maybe your siblings or people you mentor or your people you were in school with, or people around you? Did you feel that there are people who are moving faster than you and you're lagging behind?
Yeah,
and how did you do that if you did?
I think in this journey, especially having such a kind of a journey like me, you will always have those moments when you see everybody else's life is moving and yours is stagnated. And you may not say it verbally, but the inner part of you will always question yourself, what am I doing wrong? What exactly should I be doing so that I can actually be like so and so that my career can also move to the next point? And I did question myself a lot, but just like I mentioned, my support system has actually always been drawn from my family. My parents, my siblings are my biggest supporters. Like, they have always championed for me, despite the many hiccups I've faced over time. And the many days that I could cry, my siblings were just a phone call away. And I would always call and I'll be like, and the good thing is I let myself be vulnerable, and I let myself be vulnerable to the right people, because with my siblings, they knew what I was going through. And when I wanted to cry, I could cry, and I'm like, why is it like this? And they would always encourage me. There is no encouragement that can be good enough for somebody who's fighting a losing battle. But the fact that somebody is like, Faye, your time is gonna come, just hang in there. So the good thing is we never lacked food, we never lacked a place to sleep, because my family was there for me. I can't say I had many friends, because in a journey like mine, well, you lose a lot of friends. And when you don't have, you also don't have friends. So I could count the number of friends, but my greatest support system was my family. And they never let me feel low. And those low moments, they'd be the ones to come and visit. They could have my kids and play with my kids and bring them presents. And I just never lacked because of my family. Truly.
Wow, I'm so happy that you had a very strong support system.
Yeah.
And I love that they said that being vulnerable to the right people.
Yeah.
Because, why did you say that? Why did you say that? Right people.
I think because I have seen hypocrisy firsthand. People who you think are there for you, but they turn their backs on you, especially when you lose. And when you get to realize that not everybody wants the best for you, then you realize that genuinely this is the one who is at my corner and this one is not in my corner. Then you know, who can I share my story with? And my family has been the right audience for my story, because with them I have trust. They are honest. They know I'm honest with my feelings, and they'll always be honest with how they think of me. Because people, you can tell them stories, but nobody is always willing to listen to your story for good. Some people just want to listen to your story so that they can go and share it with somebody else, to criticize you and to criticize your journey. So sharing my story with the right audience, these are people who know me deep down, like, this is what she's going through and this is how we can be able to help her. Not everybody can know your story. And I just love the fact that my story has always been within my inner circle of people, and my inner circle of people are my family.
Is there another high?
Of course. Now I think since then I have had so many highs. So I just before I got here, I got to talk to a number of professors in this school, and in as much as at one point somebody in Kenya sat in a panel and criticized my CV and me being a woman and choosing family over my career, I got to realize that in a country like this, these are people who appreciate people who are all-rounded. I remember before I got here, I got to talk to my professors who are now teaching me. I got to share my interest in research, and they listened to me. And I remember one of my professors, his name is Dr. Reza. And I went to his office, and I was like, when I look around, my classmates are pretty older than me. They have a lot of research experiences because they come from very good institutions to pursue their PhD here. And I remember performing not so well in one of the cuts, and I went to his office and I was like, am I really in the right program? And he told me, Faith, from the first day I talked to you, we've not had an African student who just knows what she wants to do. And what I can actually be able to tell you is, from the classes that I've been able to teach you so far, you are a rising star. And I was like, no, somebody cannot be saying something about me like that, because I was like, what do you mean I'm a rising star? I was like, I want to see you 4-5 years from now being in my position of being better than where I am seated right now. And the good thing about this program is our professors really support us. They expect so much from us, but somehow they understand where you're coming from. And the fact that they know where you're coming from, you didn't have enough skills, but you have the drive to want to know more. You have the potential of wanting to know more. And the fact that they see you as a self-driven individual who knows what she is coming to do is really good. And this is the greatest support system I have ever seen in my academic life, even from where I come from my previous studies. This has been the greatest support system I have had. It is only 1 semester, but I have my professor, my advisor, his name is Dr. Sham. He told me, now you should be doing your training. So whatever you want to pursue right now, do it. You need reagents, tell me. You need cell lines, tell me. We will purchase that for you, as long as it enables you to go to the next phase. So I had this semester that we just finished. I have the next semester to be able to do so much under the supervision of very knowledgeable people who believe that I can be able to do the best out of what they know I can be able to do. And it gives me so much hope. It gives me so much hope that I actually have the potential to do so much in this society, and especially in science. Yeah. So this is like the best. I'm living the best life in my career right now.
And if you think about that, coming from, meeting toxic people, because those people that we were meeting were very toxic, and transition to a very refreshing environment where people are very supportive, and especially when you're doubting yourself and they're there to tell you, no, you can do it.
Yeah.
That's very refreshing. And you've mentioned something about an African student who knows what they want. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, like a lot of African students are very bright. We have very bright students. What we don't have are people who are able to give you the chance to actually pursue what you want. Because you are lucky you are able to do your research right now in ILRI. I listened to Milka's story, and yeah, she's had her lows, but she had moments where she was able to do some research in Kenya. But I have a bunch of students who are always asking me, Madam, umesikia opportunity mahali? Have you heard anything? Could you kindly give me a referral to do something? I have chosen these students and I know their potential. So our institutions lack facilities. Our institutions lack equipment to be able to teach these students the soft skills. But they have the brains, because you give somebody an assignment and they are able to do it. So that means they have the capability. So like right now as you're speaking, I have this student who just applied for a scholarship, and when he talks, I feel intimidated because he knows what he wants to pursue. And I'm like, you just finished your undergraduate degree. So that is one among thousands of students who are pursuing opportunities. And I think the other day we had a seminar for integrated cancer research. And if you could hear the questions these students are asking, they know what they want to do. But are there opportunities for them to be able to do what they want, And our Kenyan institutions people don't want to move from the positions they're already in. And they are recruiting people they know from a network of, who do you know? What is your connection to these kind of people, but not everybody has that connection. And a lot of people who don't have those connections are people who have the brains. And there are people very passionate about science. And these are kids looking for opportunities. And you feel so obligated to help somebody because you know your journey. And one thing I appreciate about the people who have made me doubt myself over the years, I don't concentrate on them. I concentrate on what can I be able to offer. Yeah, I had this, you say this about me, but I know my capabilities. You know what your potential is. And if you get somebody who trusts you enough to be like, this is what you can be able to do, can I add something else on top of this and see what capabilities you have? That is what people are looking for. And that is what a lot of students in Kenya are looking for. And it is so discouraging that we do not have the platforms, we do not have people, who can believe in us. In as much as the science institutions are there, they cannot recruit all the students who just graduated. Yeah. But it is just being able to have the potential and going out of your way and apply and just continue to pursue what you can be able to do. People here, there are lots of African students. I'm the only Kenyan in my college pursuing this program. I'm the first Kenyan pursuing this program. But if you see the students who are here from Africa, so many, actually my program, almost 50%, if not 60%, are African students who are very, very bright. So this country is looking for students who know what they want to do. People are passionate about research. Sometimes you might come with the motivation of doing what you want to do, but you get with a professor who already has a research going on, so he would want you to do his research. But it still gives you the platform to be able to gain the skills. And you never know. It is the kind of relationship that you will have with your professor, so that you see how you can integrate your idea into whatever research he or she is doing. Because even me, what I'm doing right now, what I want to pursue, I'm just trying to integrate my ideas with what my professor is doing. So the fact that I was able to get here despite the lack of experience over the years, the soft skill experiences, anybody can do it. Anybody can actually do it.
So, soft skills. Do you want to mention a few that you're trying to talk about?
Yeah, like just we may not have the equipment back home to do PCR, to do immunohistochemistry staining, or just the techniques that are already there. So one thing I would like to just say is, once you want to get into your PhD program, know what techniques are there. You might not have the hands-on experience, but just know what protocols are there. If you're working on proteins, what am I supposed to know? Flow cytometry, mass spectrometry, like all the spectrometry techniques that you got to know. PCR, how do you do DNA sequencing? How do you do reverse complementary from RNA to cDNA? How do you convert microRNA into a cDNA? Like those kind of protocols are things that we should have on our fingertips, so that when you are drafting your whatever proposal, your dissertation kind of projects, you know what techniques that you're going to use. And the most interesting part is, despite that there is a kind of, there is a protocol specifically for mass spectrometry, you can manipulate that technique to suit your own kind of project. So what I actually advise students is, just know your techniques, because the challenge I'm having right now is that I didn't equip myself with the knowledge of knowing what techniques are there to use. So what I'm struggling right now to know is to gain the knowledge of what techniques are there. that I can be able to apply in my research. So as you are struggling to create knowledge about what you want to work on, if you want to work on cancer, what aspects of cancer do you want to work on? As you are trying to understand the hallmarks of cancer, also take time to know, in as much as they are studying resistance of cell death in cancer cells, what techniques can I be able to use to understand this particular resistance of cell death? If you're trying to understand antimicrobial resistance, what techniques are you going to use? Yeah, like now we have gene editing becoming a very common technique that is being used in, editing out or knocking out genes that cause disastrous effects on the body. How can I be able to do CRISPR technique? What is the procedure for doing this particular, protocol? So like I would advise people to equip themselves with the techniques. And let us be like, Kenya, getting research papers is hard, but those that you can be able to get, like research, wachana na reviews, not reviews, but research. What techniques are they using in those research papers? So that is what I'm learning right now, that I know I should have been equipping myself with over the years. So know your techniques, be conversant of what exactly is going on out there.
I'm waiting for another high.
I mean, the other highs, they could be personal, but this is more of a, it's a podcast majorly for academic reasons, right?
I have no comment. I have no comment about that.
Yeah.
There's a lot that you've said.
I have said a lot. I don't know kama sasa hii ni podcast hapa, ilikuwa conversation. I don't know how you're going to edit it. It's a lengthy one.
No, I'm not going to edit it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the authenticity, the realness. I don't like arranged stuff. I don't like feeling like something is scripted. I want to have a conversation with someone, and I want them to be real the way they want, not edited out. Anyway, so is there anything that you'd like to mention concerning careers, and maybe chip in that feeling that you get when someone is asking for an opportunity, yet you can see they're so capable and you are there? Maybe how do you deal with that, especially when people ask you do you have an opportunity, do you know where I can get an opportunity? Does it get to you? Because for me it gets to me. It becomes personal. Does it get to you, and how do you deal with that? Because now you're not in a position to give that opportunity yourself. One thing I've really gotten to learn is that in this life you can always be asking people, have you heard of an opportunity here? Have you heard of an opportunity there? Can you kindly connect me to somebody? It didn't work for me. I just had to go out of my way and look for it. And it has been the best lesson ever. Because you will never owe anybody a reason as to why you're here. And like when somebody gets an opportunity, you feel like you owe them for the rest of your life. As long as you have that job, as long as you get that scholarship, you will always owe it to somebody. So my journey has been a me journey. It is me who searched for this. I got here because this was my drive. People have been asking me. I think it's something that happens when you get an opportunity, then you post it on your profile and somebody knows, wow, so she got it. So that means she has a network. It is not always somebody connecting you to something. It is a you effort.
It is a you effort you go out of your way. Now, these opportunities, scholarships are there online. There are a lot of websites offering scholarship opportunities. Like right now, there's so many scholarships that are going on. So different countries have different kind of way they advertise their scholarships. But when it comes to PhD, it is more a funding opportunity that you're looking for, and the scholarships are there, but what you're looking for is more funding. It is more, it tests you to be able to perform better, because when you get a scholarship that is for 4 years and you're like, I have the money, so I can be able to do what I want. But for funding, it challenges you, because every semester they want to see, are you getting the grades? Are you worth the money that we are offering you? Yeah, so it gives you the motivation to really work hard. And like for my program, they just need a 3.0 GPA, but I came here with a 3.7 GPA, so I need to keep up with that. Yeah, so scholarships are there, fellowships are there, but sometimes you just have to ask the tough questions. Do you have funding you can be able to offer me? That is the toughest question. And if somebody here can be able to answer that, yes, we have funding, then you're lucky. Because I remember I have had to ask that question so many times, and the answer has always been no. But this time it was a yes. So ask if they have funding. If they don't have funding, look for scholarships that you can be able to apply to. And people do ask, like, how did you get there? Just like I have said, it is a you effort. America doesn't have shortcuts. The UK doesn't have shortcuts. Canada doesn't have shortcuts. Let me just say, academic life outside Kenya does not have shortcuts. You just need to apply, get your GRE, get a good GRE score, and have a good GPA for your BSc and your Masters. That is what they want. And be expressive of yourself in your writing, your personal statement. Curate your statement in such a way that you talk about yourself, what your research expectations are, and why you really think you fit into this program that you're looking for. So it is a you effort. Get to the internet. Your internet should just be your best friend. Create a network. See somebody like me. If you approach me and you tell me, I have done this program and I'm interested in material science to study these and these and these, then that I can advise you. Like I can say, okay, I know of this program that is here in this institution where I'm studying, and I can give you referrals. That is, if I know what kind of referrals I can give you. And in my position right now, I haven't done so much, and I want to be able to be a door to so many people. I want to be able to open a door, because I know how hard it was, and I know so many people are going through the same like I have gone through. If I can be able to open a door for so many people and just not close that door, especially for women, that is what I'm looking for. So if I know a woman who has the capability, I will not hesitate to help you write your personal statement. I will not hesitate to tell you, do your GRE. Like, I cannot hesitate to guide you to just be where you want to be. There is no spoon feeding when you're looking for an academic opportunity. So I can help you draft a personal statement. The rest is up to you. I can tell you which universities that I have applied to. You can also try to apply to those universities. But by the end of the day, it is a real effort.
I love that you really pointed that out, that it is a you effort when it comes to looking for opportunities. Like there's so much that someone can do. They can't do everything.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with reaching out. It's very good to reach out, because you you succeeded just from reaching out to different people and just letting people know that this is what you're looking for, so that if they get anything related to what you're doing, you can always they can always think about you. But there's a place where people can get to when it comes to helping.
Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that. So I want you to tell us more about what you're currently doing, so that maybe, I don't know, someone might be interested to know what you're actually working on right now. If you can, maybe a brief of what you're working towards, and you can finish off by saying something that you really wanted to put out there for someone who might listen to this podcast. Yeah.
I think I have said so much. Everything that I have shared is for people to know about not my journey, but the journey that could possibly be yours. Now, currently I'm working on breast cancer, on a particular small particle known as an exosome. So exosomes are, particles that participate so much in cell communication, cell signaling, and cell signaling transduction pathways. And I'm trying to do a proteomic analysis of the exosomes. So a proteomic analysis is to identify the protein biomarkers on the surface of the exosomes and inside the exosomes that participate in sending signals and delivering of proteins and nucleic acids to other cells to enable metastatic processes and angiogenesis of cancer. So currently, I'm just a first semester student, so I'm isolating the exosomes at the moment as we are talking. And what I want to do is I want to bind nanoparticles, gold nanoparticles, and immunomagnetic beads on these exosomes to target specific proteins on the exosome. So once I target the specific proteins on the exosomes, I can do a comparative analysis of a normal exosome and a breast cancer exosome from specific cell lines and see what proteins are there. So sequentially, I want to understand this proteomic profile of exosomes contributing to suppression of cell apoptosis, specifically the p53 gene. So I'm still trying to maneuver on how I'm going to get there. So once I understand, because proteins are so many, there are so many proteins found on the exosomes, I want to connect them to the p53 and how they contribute to the mutation of the p53 gene. After I understand that pathway, I anticipate to design what is called a microfluidic chip. It is a small chip that can be able to diagnose cancer using a very small blood sample. So, because what we have right now is the challenge of collecting so much blood from the cancer patients, and which is not good for them. So we're trying to see how I can be able to use a very small sample of blood so that I can be able to get the exosomes, the cancer exosomes that I can be able to use for diagnosis. And depending on how it goes, can I be able to use this microfluidic chip to screen for cancer drugs and see how susceptible they are? What stages of cancer do we get drug resistance, But there is so much. But basically, I'm studying exosomes in a microfluidic chip. That is what I'm doing.
So you're trying to make diagnosis easier. Cancer diagnosis.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Faith, thanks for coming in. At least you finally had this conversation, and I think it's good that it didn't work the first time when we recorded. Even the second time, I think we did it twice. Did we do it twice?
No, this is the second time.
Yeah, okay. yeah, I feel like I've been trying so hard. So it feels like it's been a long time. Anyway, thanks for. I think it was a good thing that you didn't work the past time, because now you're more settled. Like today's a bit relaxed day for you. You're not busy, because you're usually very busy.
Oh my god, PhD is busy. Just people should know PhD is busy. Yeah.
And you I think last time you even mentioned how something to do with learning
new
so many things as well.
Yeah. And the challenge I was having then, I was using what is called dynamic laser scatter, DLS. So this is a kind of a spectrometer that is supposed to give you the size of the exosome, so the size of a nanoparticle and the concentration of the nanoparticle. So it was really hard to work with that machine, because I didn't know how to work with it, and it was my first time, and somehow, like I said, there is so much expectation when you're doing a PhD, especially from your supervisor. So there's this assumption that, once you do your first training, you ought to know. So I had done the training, but it was still hard the second time and the third time. But now I know how to use it. And just like I said, back home we don't have enough equipment. I have never seen a transmission electron microscope. Here they are so big, and preparing a sample for TM is something else. You never get it right. So those are the challenges that you're going to face once you transition from an institution that doesn't have equipment to an institution that has all the equipment. So those are the challenges that somebody is going to face. Just learning to use the tools. It's something else.
Okay. Faith, thanks for coming in and telling us your story.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been such a pleasure. It's been so relieving. Just like I told you, family knows my story. Not so many people know my story. So today I have decided to be a vulnerable scientist, to just share and put everything out there. I don't know how it's going to augur with my family and anybody who hears, but I hope it will be an inspiration to somebody.
I feel so good that you said that. I usually ask people, how do they feel after talking about it? Because this space is about, it's about also to tell people your story and for other people to be inspired, and when maybe they're the same spot that you are, or they had that experience and we feel like they can relate to their story, even if they're in a better place, or people who are coming after you. But it was also a good space for people who are talking about it, just to, I don't know how you feel. Maybe you tell me, how do you really feel just
personally
talking about it?
Personally, when I listened to the first podcast, I don't remember the name of the guy, but Collins, the first podcast that you had after me, mine failed. And I was like, that was a guy who was lucky, got in there and he got the opportunity. And then I listened to Milka's today, and I was like, she had her struggles, but I know she made it. And I love the way she's passionate about what she's doing, what she has been able to do. Then my experience is completely the opposite of the two, because they've had the opportunities and they have had the ability to pursue them over time. And it is in those moments that I get to appreciate other people's stories, because this journey, it's for, like, everybody has a personal story. Everybody has a journey to travel. And I know there are people who have, they finished their BSc and they got into it and they got the practical experiences, and there they were research assistants, and now they are managers in some research institution, which is good. But I hope that the Vulnerable Scientists will be a platform that we scientists get to appreciate the journeys that we all have. The good thing is they're not the same. And I can assure you, if we all start talking about the research that we are doing, the way I love the way you talk about the research that you're doing, and the way Milka has really expressed what she's doing, it is so beautiful, because we get to learn that life is not just about the ups and downs that we face, but also in the research that we are doing, we are passionate about making an impact in whatever we are doing. At the same time, that impact does not come easy. You're going to have to struggle to get to where you want. But by the end of the day, I am really looking forward to when you graduate, when Milka graduates, and we will celebrate and thank God, like, wow, despite those low moments, I have made it, So you're appreciating the journey as you go, looking forward to what you're going to attain. So for me, this is my first year. I am looking forward to 5 years from now, because I know I would have made something impactful in the society. Yeah.
So just to finish this podcast, I owe so much to a lot of people. But I want to start by thanking God, because this journey, He knew it. I'm just walking the footprints that He already put for me. So I owe it all to God, because He knew my story and He knew I'd be here. And I really owe everything to Him. And I want to thank, because He is my personal friend. He had my prayers and He answered them in His time. In His time, He made everything possible. So I really want to thank Him. And I want to thank my parents who believed in me, who knew that despite of how hard it was to get a science research job in Kenya, they never discouraged me. They motivated me. My dad encouraged me to do my PhD. And I thank God, because He put that in my head, I was able to pursue this dream, which is mine. Thank you, my dad. Thank you, my mom for always encouraging me and telling me that God's timing is the best, for giving me analogies to relate to in life that made them so real and relatable to how my life was, my life is right now. Thank you, Mama. For my siblings, for being my greatest support system. Thank you so much for always being a phone call away. For the people who always stand up when I needed somebody. For the people who provided fare when I needed to go to those interviews that I never got. Thank you so much. My husband, my best friend, thank you for kneeling down with me each and every day. Thank you for being the one who sticks around with the kids so that I can go to those interviews. Thank you for making things possible for us, for listening to me, for not discouraging me. Thank you, because you have believed in my dreams, and thank you for continuing to believe in my dreams, and thank you for being in this journey with me. And may God continue to bless you abundantly. For our children, for giving me the morale to just push and never to give up, because I work so hard. I never quit, and I never thought to discourage myself otherwise because of them. And because of them, I have pressed on, and I thank God because of the peaks that we have had. But I thank God for the lows that we have had, because you have been present for each and every moment. And for that, I am so grateful to you. And Mama will work so hard that you attain your dreams and you don't have to go through so much like I have and like so many people have. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my friends. This journey has been so hard. I lost a lot of friends on the way. But I thank God for those who stuck around. My sister and friend, Anne, thank you so much for being one of the best friends I've ever had. My best friend, Sweetie, for being my shoulder to lean on despite the distance. You are just always there. You are always there, and I really thank God for you. Your sister, Antomini, and she always sent me opportunities. She made it look so possible. For the links that she sent, for helping me draft letters where I knew I wouldn't get the job, but she was always there supporting me. Thank you so much, Tosh. Thank you, Polycarp. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Godwin. And everybody who has been part of my journey as a friend. I'm so grateful. Most importantly, I want to thank one woman who has made it so possible for me. Thank you, Professor Mwege, for holding my hand, for taking time to look at my CV, for taking time to edit my personal statement and told me these are the places you need to work on. Thank you so much, because this has all been possible because God put you in my path. And thank you because you held my hand when I felt that everything was so lost, and you encouraged me. And because your story is so relatable to mine, I thank God for you. I also want to thank my advisor, Dr. Sham, because he took a second look at my personal statement, my CV and my GPA, and he knew I was the right student for him. Thank you so much, Dr. Sham, for giving me a platform to do my research, for enabling me to believe that in a laboratory setting, you don't need to have so much knowledge, but you just need to be motivated to be able to execute the projects that are meant for you to be doing in the lab. Thank you so much, Dr. Sham. Dr. Dalinja, thank you for the Zoom meetings. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for being my go-to person. Thank you for the trainings that you keep giving me. I am learning so much, so I'm so grateful. Dr. Reza, you're my professor, but you're also my friend. For believing in me, for seeing what the challenges I've had to go through, but still knowing that I can still shine despite everything. So many people I can thank in this journey. So many. I have a long list, but thank you, my students. Thank you, Dr. Masai, for always writing those recommendations for me. Dr. Sandeep here, my professor from India, for writing the recommendations. Thank you so much. Most importantly, I want to finish by thanking my close friend, Dr. Sagar Ariel from Nepal. Thank you for trusting me, for being my friend, for giving me opportunities that are rare, because you built for me an experience that I will never forget. And for that, may God continue to bless you. Thank you, Sarah, as I finish this, for being my friend, for encouraging me. You don't know what role you have played in my life, but you have showed me and many other people out there that it is so possible to just pursue the things that we see so impossible. It is very possible, and it is possible to just be passionate about science. Thank you so much. God continue to bless you for the podcast, and may people continue to learn out of everything that you're offering. Otherwise, I'm really grateful. Thank you, my God. Thank you so much for this platform, Sarah. May God continue to open doors for you as you journey on. Otherwise, Happy New Year to everybody who will be listening to this podcast. And may God bless you all. Thank you so much. And lastly, I want to thank my friends from the Integrated Cancer Research Foundation of Kenya, soon to be Dr. Hudson Alukonya and David, and Dr. Elliot Abbott. Thank you for looking at my CV and looking at my writing experience and be like, this is the person we need for our digital education program for ICRF. Thank you because of the good recommendations that you wrote for me, and I believe that we will do something great with the Integrity Cancer Foundation of Kenya. And Mary Mreithi, thank you for introducing me to these wonderful people at ICRF, because with them I have come to believe that research is truly possible when people are given a chance. And may God continue to bless your journey as well as you pursue your PhD. And I look forward to great collaborations with ICRF, with Hudson, and to do great things for ICRF. Otherwise, I'm a grateful soul for the opportunities that you have given me, and I'm looking forward to 2022, where ICRF is going to be a growth platform for so many cancer research students in Kenya. Thank you. So just to finish this podcast, I owe so much to a lot of people, but I want to start by thanking God, because this journey, He knew it. I'm just walking the footprints that He already put for me. So I owe it all to God, because He knew my story and He knew I'd be here. And I really owe everything to Him. And I want to thank, because He is my personal friend. He heard my prayers and He answered them in His time. In His time, He made everything possible. So I really want to thank Him. And I want to thank my parents who believed in me, who knew that despite of how hard it was to get a science research job in Kenya, they never discouraged me. They motivated me. My dad encouraged me to do my PhD. And I thank God, because He put that in my head, I was able to pursue this dream, which is mine. Thank you, my dad. Thank you, my mom for always encouraging me and telling me that God's timing is the best, for giving me analogies to relate to in life that made them so real and relatable to how my life was, my life is right now. Thank you, Mama. For my siblings, for being my greatest support system. Thank you so much for always being a phone call away. For the people who always stand up when I needed somebody. For the people who provided fare when I needed to go to those interviews that I never got. Thank you so much. My husband, my best friend, thank you for kneeling down with me each and every day. Thank you for being the one who sticks around with the kids so that I can go to those interviews. Thank you for making things possible for us, for listening to me, for not discouraging me. Thank you, because you have believed in my dreams, and thank you for continuing to believe in my dreams, and thank you for being in this journey with me. And may God continue to bless you abundantly. For our children, for giving me the morale to just push and never to give up, because I work so hard. I never quit, and I never thought to discourage myself otherwise because of them. And because of them, I have pressed on, and I thank God because of the peaks that we have had. But I thank God for the lows that we have had, because you have been present for each and every moment, and for that, I am so grateful to you. And Mama will work so hard that you attain your dreams and you don't have to go through so much like I haven't, like so many people have. Thank you for my family. Thank you for my friends. This journey has been so hard. I lost a lot of friends on the way. But I thank God for those who stuck around. My sister and friend, Anne, thank you so much for being one of the best friends I've ever had. My best friend, Sweetie, for being my shoulder to lean on despite the distance. You are just always there. You are always there, and I really thank God for you. Your sister, Antomini, and she always sent me opportunities. She made it look so possible. For the links that she sent, for helping me draft letters where I knew I wouldn't get the job, but she was always there supporting me. Thank you so much, Tosh. Thank you, Polycarp. Thank you, Brooke. Thank you, Godwin. And everybody who has been a part of my journey as a friend. I'm so grateful. Most importantly, I want to thank one woman who has made it so possible for me. Thank you, Professor Moige, for holding my hand, for taking time to look at my CV, for taking time to edit my personal statement and told me these are the places you need to work on. Thank you so much, because this has all been possible because God put you in my path. And thank you because you held my hand when I felt that everything was so lost, and you encouraged me. And because your story is so relatable to mine, I thank God for you. I also want to thank my advisor, Dr. Sham, because he took a second look at my personal statement, my CV, and my GPA, and he knew I was the right student for him. Thank you so much, Dr. Sham, for giving me a platform to do my research, for enabling me to believe that in a laboratory setting, you don't need to have so much knowledge, but you just need to be motivated to be able to execute the projects that are meant for you to do in the lab. Thank you so much, Dr. Sham. Dr. Delinja, thank you for the Zoom meetings. Thank you for encouraging me. Thank you for being my go-to person. Thank you for the trainings that you keep giving me. I am learning so much, so I'm so grateful. Dr. Reza, you're my professor, but you're also my friend. For believing in me, for seeing what the challenges I've had to go through, but still knowing that I can still shine despite everything. So many people I can thank in this journey. So many. I have a long list, but thank you, my students. Thank you, Dr. Masai, for always writing those recommendations for me. Dr. Sandeep here, my professor from India, for writing the recommendations. Thank you so much. Most importantly, I want to finish by thanking my close friend, Dr. Saga Ariel from Nepal. Thank you for trusting me, for being my friend, for giving me opportunities that are rare, because you built for me an experience that I will never forget. And for that, may God continue to bless you. Thank you, Sarah, as I finish this, for being my friend, for encouraging me. You don't know what role you have played in my life, but you have showed me and many other people out there that it is so possible to just pursue the things that we see so impossible. It is very possible, and it is possible to just be passionate about science. Thank you so much. God continue to bless you for the podcast, and may people continue to learn out of everything that you're offering. Otherwise, I'm really grateful. Thank you, my God. Thank you so much for this platform, Sarah. May God continue to open doors for you as you journey on. Otherwise, Happy New Year to everybody who will be listening to this podcast. And may God bless you all. Thank you so much. And lastly, I want to thank my friends from the Integrated Cancer Research Foundation of Kenya, soon to be Dr. Hudson Malukonya and David, and Dr. Elliot Abbott. Thank you for looking at my CV and looking at my writing experience and be like, this is the person we need for our digital education program for ICRF. Thank you because of the good recommendations that you wrote for me, and I believe that we will do something great with the Integrity Cancer Foundation of Kenya. And Miriam Rathi, thank you for introducing me to these wonderful people at ICRF, because with them I have come to believe that research is truly possible when people are given a chance. And may God continue to bless your journey as well as you pursue your PhD. And I look forward to great collaborations with ICRF, with Hudson, and to do great things for ICRF. Otherwise, I'm a grateful soul for the opportunities that you have given me, and I'm looking forward to 2022, where ICRF is going to be a growth platform for so many cancer research students in Kenya. Thank you.
Do you want to start your own podcast? Start with some simple gear that you already have and a quiet space. Simple gear includes a microphone, editing software, and host of your podcast. Simple microphones include the ones on your phones and computers, or a simple recorder, which you can upgrade later. For the editing software, I use Audacity, which is free and simple to use. Buzzsprout, which over 1,000 other fellow podcasters like me use, is one of the podcast hosting providers you can use. Buzzsprout has helped me link my show on every major podcast platform. With the endless number and regularly updated tutorials and good customer service support Buzzsprout offers, my podcasting journey has been made easy. Following the link in the show notes, let Buzzsprout know we sent you. Gets you a $20 Amazon gift card if you sign up for a paid plan, and helps support our show.